Carl Jung said that the least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. What does this mean? Let's break it down. Things with meaning are things that have value to us. They can be material possessions or experiences or ideas, but ultimately they all have something in common. They all mean something to us. Maybe a teddy bear that you had when you were little doesn't mean much to anyone else, but to you it has a lot of meaning because of the memories and feelings that it brings up. Or maybe there is a song that has a lot of meaning to you because it reminds you of a significant other. These are things with meaning. If someone asked why, you might say something like, well, I didn't want to marry her anyway, or maybe I don't believe in marriage anymore, or maybe she was on the right girl for me. The fact is that even though you lost something that seemed very meaningful to you at the time, we spend so much time and energy trying to achieve certain things that we think will make us happy, like getting a job, buying a house, having kids. But what I am saying is that we need to be careful that we do get caught up in the idea of these things, and forget to appreciate the things that are important to us in life. The things that actually bring us happiness and fulfillment. But Jung is saying that when we realize how short and precious life is, it gives us the strength to swim against the current and forge our own path. On social media, we see people flaunting their wealth and their success and their beauty. This can be hard, but it's also incredibly rewarding, because when we live a life that is true to ourselves, we will never regret it. And it can be easy to get caught up in the rat race and just try to keep up with the Joneses. It takes a lot of courage to live a life that is true to ourselves, especially if we are going against the grain of what society expects of us. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you did, please leave a like or a comment. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. If so, why do you think it will have meaning? Will it really make you happy or fulfilled? Or will it just be something that you have to put on a pedestal and worship from afar? It can be helpful to take a step back and really evaluate the things that we say have meaning to us, and make sure that they are actually things that we want. But as Jung says, it is better to die on one's feet than to live on one's knees. So, it's important that we spend our time pursuing the things that are actually important to us. If we are willing to stand up for what we believe in and live a life that is true to ourselves, then we will never regret it. But Jung is saying that if we really want to live a meaningful life, we need to be aware of the futility of life and not let ourselves get caught up in the rat race. And then once we achieve those things, we realize that they didn't really make us happy. So then we go after the next thing, which is supposed to make us happy, only to find out that this doesn't work either. You feel better about it because the thing that you lost didn't actually mean anything to you in the long run. It was just something that you thought meant something to you. I feel like we can all agree that things in life can be broken down into two categories: those with meaning and those without. But sometimes when we stop and think about it, it becomes clear that these things don't actually mean anything to us. We're just chasing after them because we think that we should, or because we think that other people will think they're important. But if we lose them, will we be happy or sad? Will we regret it or not? And it's hard to imagine a thing that doesn't fall into this category, because everything in the world is just something or something, right? It will still be more valuable to you than something great, like winning an award or being famous or having lots of money, if those things don't mean anything to you. It just is. So, almost by default, everything has some sort of meaning. What he means here is that when we realize that life is short and that none of us really knows what is going to happen tomorrow, it can be a wake-up call to start living life our own way. Instead of just going along with whatever society or our parents or our friends tell us to do, we can take a step back and decide what is important to us and what we actually want out of life. You had found the perfect ring, and you had planned out the perfect date, and everything was going perfectly. Then just as you are about to propose, someone snatches the ring out of your hand and throws it into the ocean, where it sinks to the bottom. It would be nice if you could retrieve the ring from the bottom of the ocean and give it to her instead. But let's assume that it's too late and the ring is gone forever. In this situation, you might think, well, that sucks. That was a really nice ring. And now, I'll never be able to propose to her. And it would be a completely reasonable reaction. You lost something that you had put a lot of time and effort into, and something that meant a lot to you, because it was part of your plan to propose to the woman that you love. But still, some things seem to have more meaning than others. On the other hand, we have things without meaning, things that don't really mean anything to us. So what Jung is saying is that even if you have something that seems trivial or meaningless, like a penny or a leaf or a pebble, to take another example, let's say you were planning on proposing to your girlfriend. But what if instead of being upset that you lost the ring, you were actually happy that you lost the ring? When we look at our lives generally, I think it is easy to get caught up in the things that seem to have a lot of meaning. the big goals and dreams and aspirations that we have. If we zoom out and look at our lives from a bird's eye view, I think we can see this phenomenon pretty clearly. Now, this isn't to say that having a job and a house and a family is bad. Jung goes on to say that it is precisely the awareness of the futility of life that makes it possible for a man to escape from his purely objective existence and turn his attention to things that are of subjective value. It is easy to get swept up in the current of societal expectations and just go along with it. In today's society, it can be especially hard to do this, because we are constantly bombarded with messages telling us what we should want out of life. We need to ask ourselves what really matters to us and focus on that. As Jung says, it is better to die on one's feet than live on one's knees. What are some things in your life that have meaning? Are you chasing after something that you think will have meaning but haven't yet achieved it? Life is short and precious, and we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And with that said, thank you so much for watching.